Why do people leave expecting you to wait? Why do they believe they can walk away so easily, only to return when it suits them? It's because they think they hold the power. They assume you will sit in silence, drowning in their absence, lost in memories, staring at your phone, waiting for the moment they decide to come back. But here's where they miscalculated. They underestimated you. Society has taught you that when someone leaves, your job is to prove your worth, to chase, to beg, to convince them that you deserve a place in their life. But that is a lie. The most powerful move you can make is not to react. Be so unshaken, so indifferent, and so focused on your own journey that their absence becomes irrelevant. They left thinking you would break, that you would crumble under the weight of your emotions. But that is not what a person of strength does. That is not what someone with true purpose does. And that is definitely not what a Stoic does. A person who understands the power of detachment knows one thing: nothing outside their control is worth their peace. This is where Stoicism and the art of control come into play. The Stoics believed in mastering one thing above all: the self. You do not let emotions dictate your actions. You do not allow another's choices to define your worth. You do not break over things that were never in your hands to begin with. When you embrace this mindset, you become untouchable. You become the kind of person others regret leaving. Because while they were out searching for something better, you became better. The shift happens the moment you stop reacting. When you no longer waste your energy on those who walked away. When you stop waiting for someone who already proved they were willing to leave, this is when your power begins to rise. When you detach, when you turn inward and pour all your energy into yourself, something remarkable happens. They start to wonder, they start to question. They thought you would wait. They thought you would still be there when they changed their mind. But now they're the ones waiting, and here's the truth. The moment you reclaim your power, you unlock something greater. You stop chasing and instead attract. The universe responds to those who move forward without fear. The ones who do not beg, do not plead, and do not linger in the past. The ones who rise, evolve, and become so powerful in their presence that others have no choice but to notice. So ask yourself, are you still waiting, or are you ready to make them wait? Are you still hoping, or are you ready to become the kind of person they regret leaving? If you're ready to step into your power, if you're done waiting, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss another video. And for those who are truly ready to attract everything they deserve, comment below, "I deserve attraction." Let the world know that you are no longer waiting. You are becoming. Steel is forged in fire. They expected you to break. They thought you would shatter like glass, too fragile to handle the impact of their absence. They assumed you would spend sleepless nights staring at your phone, waiting for a message that never comes. In their mind, your world revolved around them, and without them, it would collapse. But here's where they made their first mistake. They believed they were your foundation, that without them you had no strength. They thought they had that kind of power over you, but only the weak believe they are another person's source of strength. A weak person begs, pleads, and lets their emotions drown them. But you are not weak. You are about to become something they never saw coming. Someone who thrives in the face of loss. Someone who takes pain and turns it into power. Someone who does not crumble, but rebuilds into something unbreakable. Steel is forged in fire. It does not melt. It transforms, hardens, and becomes indestructible. The foundation of Stoicism is resilience. It is standing firm in the storm, unmoved by the chaos around you. what is outside your control, their choices, their actions, their departure. Instead of letting that consume you, you adapt, you evolve, you rise. While they expect you to drown in self-pity, you hit the gym harder than ever. You sharpen your mind, feeding it knowledge, growing stronger in every possible way. You double down on your purpose, your goals, your ambition, because the best way to prove you are never dependent on them is to thrive without them. And here's where the tables turn. The moment they see you standing taller than before, the moment they realize their absence didn't destroy you, something shifts. Doubt creeps in. They start to wonder, did I ever really matter? Was I just another passing moment in their life? That uncertainty, that regret begins to eat away at them. Most people expect to leave and return to the same person they abandoned. They assume you'll be stuck in time, frozen in that moment of loss, waiting. But when they come back and find you changed, unshaken, indifferent, that's when they realize the truth. Most people give in to their emotions. They spiral, they react, they let pain consume them. But you take the pain and use it. You turn it into discipline, into growth, into an unshakable version of yourself. You become untouchable, unreadable, and unstoppable. Let them expect you to break. Let them believe they mattered enough to destroy you. And then show them that they didn't. Silence screams the loudest. They expect you to reach out, to send that one last message, to check in, to show that you still care. They are waiting for proof that you can't handle their absence. They assume in time your silence will break and you will come crawling back. But here's what they don't expect. Nothing. No message, no reaction, no validation. Just complete and absolute silence. Most people make the mistake of chasing. They believe that if they just say the right words, if they just show how much they care, things will change. They think if they prove their devotion, they will be rewarded with another chance. But that is exactly what they want, not because they plan to come back, but because it feeds their ego. They want to feel desired. They want to feel in control. They want to believe that no matter how far they go, you'll always be right there waiting. But what happens when you do the opposite? When you say nothing, when you vanish into the shadows and focus entirely on your own growth, that is when the tables turn. Silence is powerful because it forces the mind to wonder. It creates a void, and that void demands to be filled. Why haven't they called? Why aren't they trying to win me back? Was I not that important to them? That uncertainty is dangerous, because now, instead of you questioning your worth, they are questioning theirs. And while they are trapped in their thoughts, stuck in a cycle of doubt, you are out there becoming the best version of yourself. Every second spent wondering about them is a second wasted on someone who walked away. Instead of letting that energy consume you, you channel it into something greater. You refine your mind, sharpen your body, and elevate your success. You become so disciplined, so focused, so untouchable, that when they finally look back, they don't even recognize the person standing before them. And that is the moment they realize they lost something real. Here's where psychology comes into play. When you give someone nothing, they start craving something. When you refuse to react, you become the one in control. They left believing they had the upper hand, that you needed their presence, their attention, their validation. But now, they are faced with a version of you who doesn't need anything from them. That realization will haunt them. So don't text, don't call, and don't post emotional quotes hoping they'll notice. Just disappear. Focus, grind. And when they finally look for you, all they will find is someone too busy winning to care. master the storm, or be destroyed by it. Right now, your emotions are screaming at you. The pain, the frustration, the betrayal, they are all clawing at your mind, trying to pull you into a downward spiral. And that is exactly what they expect. They expect you to react, to lash out, to break. They want proof that they still hold power over your heart, that they still control your thought. But here's the truth. A person who controls their emotions controls everything. Emotions make people reckless. They lead to desperate actions, impulsive mistakes, chasing after things that no longer serve them. They cloud judgment, making people believe that love is about holding on, when in reality, power lies in letting go. The ancient Stoics understood this better than anyone. True strength does not come from reacting to the world, but from mastering the self. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is the secret. It's not about controlling the world, it's about controlling yourself. This is where the real game begins. The less you react, the more power you hold. People are wired to expect an emotional response. They assume that if they leave, you will be consumed by feelings, desperate for closure, for validation. They subconsciously expect you to chase, to plead, to prove your worth. But what happens when you don't? What happens when instead of being driven by emotions, you remain calm, detached, and in complete control? It confuses them. It makes them question everything. Imagine this. They check in on you, maybe through mutual friends, maybe through social media. They expect to find someone sulking, someone broken, but instead they see a person thriving, someone who isn't bitter, someone who isn't lashing out, someone who seems completely unfazed by their absence. That realization shakes them to their core, because in that moment, they see the truth. They were never your center. They were never your purpose. And that is what makes them regret leaving. From this moment forward, emotions are no longer your enemy. They are your fuel. You take that pain and turn it into discipline. You take that heartbreak and use it as a stepping stone to something greater. You no longer let your feelings control you, you control them. The one who masters their emotions masters life itself. A shadow feels no pain. Hate is still an emotion. Anger still means you care. Even resentment is a form of attachment. And that's exactly what they are counting on. They don't need your love anymore. They just need to know they still matter. They want proof that they still hold a place in your mind, in your emotions, in your story. But what happens when you give them nothing? No reaction, no anger, no sadness. Just complete and utter indifference. That is when the real pain begins. Most people believe the opposite of love is hate. They are wrong. The opposite of love is indifference. Love and hate are two sides of the same coin. Both require energy, both require focus. But when you feel nothing, when their name no longer sparks any reaction inside you, when their presence or absence means absolutely nothing, that is when you've won. They can handle your anger. They can even handle your sadness, because both tell them one thing: you are still affected. But when you treat them like a ghost, like they no longer exist in your world, that is a different kind of suffering. The mind craves validation. If someone once cared about us, we assume we will always have some level of control over their emotions. That assumption is comforting. It reassures the ego. But when that control disappears, when they are met with absolute detachment, that's when the panic begins. They thought you would argue. They thought you would try to prove something. They thought you would lash out, send a message, react in any way that confirms they still hold power. But instead, You walk away like they were never there. That silence, that neutrality, cuts deeper than any words ever could. And now the story in their head begins to change. They are no longer thinking, "I'm hurt because I left." Now they're thinking, "Wait, did I even matter? Was I as important as I thought I was?" That seed of doubt once planted grows like a vine wrapping around their mind, tightening with every passing moment of silence. The longer they wonder, the more they regret. This is why true power lies in indifference. When you stop seeing them as someone worth reacting to, they lose all influence over you. They become just another face in the crowd, just another passerby in a world too vast to cling to a single moment. And that is when the shift happens, when they start chasing what they once discarded. Because nothing is more attractive than someone who cannot be controlled, cannot be shaken, and cannot be moved. So let go of the hate, let go of the anger, let go of everything except your own peace. Because once they realize that nothing they do can disturb you, they will realize they lost something far greater than they ever imagined. Chasing shadows yields no prize. They walked away fully, expecting that you would be the one to chase after them, the one to send endless messages at odd hours, to call late into the night, hoping against hope for a sign that you still care. They assumed your emotional attachment would drive you to prove your worth, by relentlessly pursuing a connection that they once commanded. In their mind, your care was an open invitation to chase, a signal that you were too fragile to let go. But when you choose silence, when you vanish into a realm of self-focus and growth, their carefully constructed narrative begins to crumble. At first, they might feel a fleeting relief, a sense that they have successfully left a mark on you. They might even convince themselves that you will eventually reach out, that the embers of your past passion will reignite the familiar chase. But as the days turn into weeks and then months, when no message, no call, no desperate attempt to bridge the gap surfaces, they start to question everything. For vid ain't the var that the dees, why need they shays days? They ask themselves, why haven't you chased? Why are you silent? Did my absence mean less to you than I once believed? This silence becomes a mirror, reflecting back their own insecurities, and the realization that the control they thought they held was nothing more than an illusion. Imagine a once thriving garden, abandoned and left untended. The flowers that once depended on constant care slowly begin to wither, not from neglect, but because they were never truly robust enough to flourish on their own. In the same way, when you cease to chase, you reveal that your strength was never tied to their presence. Your focus shifts to cultivating your own garden, a life enriched with purpose, discipline, and relentless ambition. Like a master gardener who knows that every season brings new growth, you invest your energy in nurturing your own potential rather than clinging to what no longer serves you. The truth is, the chase is a game that only fuels their ego. They thrive on the notion that they still have power over you, that by leaving, they can set into motion a chain reaction of desperate pursuit. Yet when you stop playing this game, when you let silence reign, you dismantle the very foundation of their control. As the saying goes, the best revenge is living well, not with noise, not with words, but with the quiet, unwavering power of your own success. Your silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of self-respect, a testament to the fact that you are no longer willing to invest your emotional energy in someone who no longer deserves it. Consider the image of a seasoned sailor navigating treacherous waters. When storms rage, many flounder and lose their way, clinging desperately to the familiar shores. But the truly skilled sailor understands that sometimes the best course of action is to let the tempest pass, to harness the power of the wind and steer a course toward calmer seas. In your case, the storm is the void left by their departure. Rather than being tossed about by waves of regret and longing, you anchor yourself in the harbor of self-mastery and focus on charting a new course. Each day that you dedicate to building your life, whether it's honing your physical strength, sharpening your mind, or advancing your career, is another day that you drift farther from the dependency that once defined you. This journey is not without its challenges. There may be moments when doubt creeps in. True growth often demands stepping away from the noise of expectations and embracing a period of introspection and self-improvement. It is in this quiet space that you discover who you truly are, beyond the roles imposed by others. And that is when you begin to craft a life that resonates with your innermost values. As time passes, they start to see a different story unfolding, a narrative in which you are not the one clinging to the past, but rather a person who has transcended it. Your transformation becomes a silent rebuke to their initial assumptions. They begin to understand that you were never as attached as they presumed, and that your worth was never defined by their fleeting presence. With each passing moment of focused solitude, you become more confident, more self-reliant, and ultimately far more magnetic than you ever were as the one chasing shadows. Now is the moment to fully embrace this transformation. Let the silence speak louder than any desperate call or tearful message ever could. Step into your power and let your life be a living testament to the fact that you're complete without chasing, that you flourish when you focus on your own path. Every second you spend in the pursuit of self-improvement is a strike against the notion that your value is determined by someone else's validation. If you're ready to break free from the chains of expectation, if you're prepared to let your success be the resounding answer to their doubts, then seize this moment. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because your journey to unshakable power and undeniable self-worth is just beginning. Ghosts don't belong in your future. They made a choice, they walked away. And the moment they did, they lost the privilege of being a priority in your life. Fazejo, hitino, shis, fateza fasaza. Yet too many people make the mistake of keeping the past alive, keeping someone who left trapped in their mind, their conversations, their energy. They tell themselves they've moved on, but deep down, they're still checking social media, still replaying old memories, still secretly hoping for a return that will never come. That ends today. The moment they walked out, they removed themselves from your story. They are no longer your concern, no longer your responsibility, no longer a part of the empire you are building. If you truly want to step into your power, you must accept one simple truth. They are gone, and that is a good thing. The Stoics believed in radical acceptance of reality. They didn't waste time longing for what was, or clinging to what could have been. They focused only on what was within their control. And what is within your control, your focus, your discipline, your energy, you owe them nothing. Not a check-in, not an explanation, not even a second thought. They chose a life without you. Now you build a life where they are irrelevant. This is where the shift happens. When someone leaves, they assume you will keep the door open. They assume they will always be an option. That no matter where they go or what they do, you will always be emotionally available. always carrying a piece of them in your thoughts. But when they sense they have been completely erased from your mind, that is when regret creeps in. The human mind is wired for validation. We expect to leave a mark on those we were once close to be remembered, to be missed. But when they look back and realize you have moved forward without hesitation, without mourning, without even acknowledging their absence, that realization shatters their ego. Imagine this: they ask about you, maybe through mutual friends, maybe through a quick glance at your social media, expecting to see signs of struggle, signs of longing, proof that you are still stuck in the past. But instead they find someone thriving, someone focused, someone unbothered. That shift is devastating, because now they are not just dealing with the loss of a relationship, they are dealing with the loss of their significance in your world. Think of your life as a book. They were a chapter, but you are writing a whole new story, and they are not in it. They were a moment, not the whole picture. And the moment you stop checking in, stop watching, stop waiting, you reclaim your power. Every second spent looking back is a second wasted. Every thought given to them is energy stolen from your future. So let them be the past. Let them be nothing more than a name that no longer carries weight. You don't need closure. You don't need an apology. You don't need a reason. All you need is the understanding that their absence is not your loss. It's your freedom. Ghosts don't belong in your future. And once they realize they are no longer even a shadow in your world, that's when they understand what they truly lost. Mystery unleashed. They thought they had you figured out, that every move you made was predictable, that you'd react in the same way you always did, waiting silently, suffering and clinging to the hope of their return. But now you've transformed into a riddle wrapped in an enigma, a mystery that leaves them grasping for answers. The human mind craves certainty. It hungers to know that the ones we leave behind continue to hold a place in our thoughts and hearts. When someone was once so certain of your every reaction, your emotional blueprint, the comfort of the known seemed to lie in the rhythm of your past behavior. However, by disappearing into the depths of self-improvement, by evolving into a version of yourself they can no longer pinpoint, you've dismantled that illusion of control. Imagine a magician who, instead of revealing every trick, leaves the audience in awe with the unknown. When the curtains fall and the secrets remain hidden, the wonder intensifies. In the same way, your transformation, your silent metamorphosis into someone sharper, more disciplined and more refined, creates an allure that is as magnetic as it is confounding. They now watch you like an unsolvable puzzle, checking your social media for clues, questioning if you found a new path, if you've met someone new, or simply wondering why you seem so different. And the more they try to decode the new you, the more elusive you become. This shift isn't about playing games or staging a grand performance. It's about genuine evolution. As the old you fades into memory, the person who emerges is unbound by the limitations of the past. In the realm of human attraction, unpredictability is among the most potent forces. They say mystery is the art of leaving just enough unsaid to keep curiosity burning. When your inner world becomes a secret garden, one that they can no longer wander freely, their certainty crumbles, replaced by a fixation that borders on obsession. Every unanswered question, every gap in the narrative of your life, becomes a mirror reflecting their own vulnerabilities. At first, they might feel a mixture of relief and disbelief, perhaps even a touch of hope. that you might one day revert to the familiar pattern. But as days turn into weeks and weeks into months, that hope wanes. Instead of the comforting cadence of your predictable responses, they encounter silence, a silence that speaks volumes. It tells them that you are no longer tethered to the emotional past that once bound you to their expectations. It reveals that you have stepped into a higher echelon of self-mastery, one where your value isn't determined by how much you care or how much you chase. In this new space, your presence isn't measured by constant validation, but by the quiet strength of your inner resolve. Think of it as a ship navigating vast open waters. When the horizon is clear, every star seems to point in one direction and the course is set. But when the skies suddenly shift and clouds obscure the familiar constellations, the navigator must rely on a deeper understanding of the currents and winds, a skill honed through experience and self-belief. You have become that master navigator, charting a course that no longer bends to the whims of external validation. Your mystery isn't a shield built out of cold detachment. It's the natural byproduct of relentless self-improvement and introspection. In the process of your evolution, you've outgrown the version of yourself that was once easily read and anticipated. Your energy now flows into pursuits that truly matter, strengthening your body, sharpening your mind, and fueling your ambitions. And as you rise, the very people who expected you to remain predictable begin to realize that they no longer hold the key to your emotions, that they are left with fragments of what once was, trying to piece together the identity of someone who has already soared beyond their grasp. Every moment you invest in your transformation is a silent declaration that you're not defined by what others expect of you. The enigma you embody now is the essence of true power, a power that comes from knowing who you are, independent of anyone else's influence. And as they struggle to understand this new reality, their uncertainty grows into a consuming curiosity. They start to wonder if you found a new passion, a new direction, or perhaps a new love. But the truth remains. The mystery is not meant for them to solve. It's the reward for your unwavering commitment to personal growth. So let your silence and transformation speak for themselves. Let every unfathomable glance and every distant smile be the evidence of your evolution. Embrace the fact that mystery is not an absence, but a presence, a potent force that draws intrigue and commands respect. If you're ready to step into this realm of irresistible enigma, where you're not just surviving but thriving in your own uniqueness, then seize the moment. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because your journey into mystery and mastery has only just begun. Purpose commands attention. Desperation repels it. Love fades, attraction shifts, feelings change. But you know what never loses value? A person with purpose. Demoni. Hespers vedas kula. One of the biggest mistakes people make is centering their entire existence around someone else, making them the reason they wake up, the motivation behind their actions, the foundation of their happiness. When that person leaves, when they walk away without looking back, their whole world crumbles. Why? Because they built it around something that was never guaranteed to stay. But a person with purpose, they don't break when someone walks away. They don't fall apart when something ends. In fact, they barely notice, because their energy, their drive, their vision was never dependent on another person's presence. And that, more than anything, is what makes them irresistible. People are naturally drawn to those who are focused, who are building, who are grinding towards something bigger than themselves. This is why you see highly successful individuals attracting attention effortlessly. They don't chase, they don't beg, they don't linger in the past. They are too busy chasing their goals. And that ambition, it's magnetic. Scarcity creates value. This is basic psychology. The more available something is, the less it is appreciated. But when something is rare, when access is limited, that's when it becomes desirable. That's exactly why those who prioritize their mission over relationships become the ones others chase. A person drowning in heartbreak, looking for closure, trying to fix what's already shattered, that's common. That's everywhere. But a person who vanishes into their grind, who doesn't have time to care, who is so locked into their evolution that they forget the past even existed, that's rare. And people crave what's rare. Think of a burning fire. A small flame flickers, vulnerable to the wind, struggling to survive. But a wildfire, it moves with unstoppable force, consuming everything in its path. The ones who are consumed by heartbreak burn like weak flames, unable to stand alone. But those who forge ahead, who turn pain into fuel, who build something unstoppable, that's where true power lies. They don't just survive, they thrive. And by the time the past starts wondering what happened, they are already too far ahead to care. From this moment on, your energy belongs to one thing, your purpose, not to the past, not to what could have been, not to someone who chose to walk away, but only to what lies ahead. Because the ones who chase never win. The ones who build, they don't need to chase. They become the ones worth chasing. It's too late for regret. They once believed leaving was the smart move, confident even, sure that it was the right decision. In that moment, they thought they had it all figured out, certain that by walking away, they were making the best choice. Perhaps they assumed they could do better or longed for the thrill of exploring uncharted possibilities. Maybe they even believed that if circumstances changed, you would always be there, waiting, ready to welcome them back into the fold. But as time moves forward, the truth slowly settles in like a quiet shadow creeping over a sunlit field. Initially, there's no immediate sting of regret, only a vague distraction, a sense of liberation, a fleeting rush of freedom. They become engrossed in the newfound space, convinced that the choice they made was both bold and justified. Yet as the excitement of that first rush fades away, reality begins to assert itself in subtle, insidious ways. With each passing day, the absence of what once was becomes more pronounced. The realization dawns that the options they believed existed were nothing more than illusions, fleeting as smoke. They start to compare, to question, and to wonder if perhaps, in the grand scheme of things, they downgraded something valuable. What if the comfort of familiarity, the unwavering presence that once defined your connection, was something irreplaceable? As they encounter new faces and fleeting moments of companionship, nothing seems to fill the void. These encounters lack the depth, the strength, and the magnetic energy that once radiated from you. It becomes clear that the casual alternatives fail to capture that irreplaceable aura. An aura built on unwavering focus, discipline, and a purpose that transcends transient affection. Imagine a vast, ancient tree, its roots deeply embedded in rich soil, standing as a symbol of enduring strength. Over time, the tree weathers storms and seasons, its leaves shifting and colors changing, yet its essence remains unyielding. Now picture someone who once cast their eyes upon that tree. and believed that severing that connection might offer a new view, only to later realize that nothing could compare to the life force and beauty of what was left behind. That is the slow, painful awakening that follows. A moment when the mind finally registers the magnitude of what has been lost. They begin to scour old memories and check in on social media, piecing together remnants of a past that now seems like a distant dream. They seek validation in small details, in the echoes of what was once shared, questioning whether the connection was ever as secure as they believed. Dark psychology teaches us that regret often surfaces when the possibility of a return is utterly eliminated. The stronger the transformation on the other side, the harsher the sting of hindsight becomes. You evolved into someone unrecognizable, a person so focused on self-growth, discipline, and purpose that the person who once captivated their attention has become a distant memory. There is an old saying, "The person you once knew is now just a chapter in your story," while the rest of you writes an entirely new book. That truth rings true in these moments. The individual they once left behind is now thriving, driven by a clear vision and completely untethered by the weight of past attachments. With each day that you build a future rooted in unwavering determination, they slowly begin to understand the magnitude of what they sacrificed. That is so, then that they are their heart, once filled with confidence and boldness, now grapples with the reality that sometimes leaving comes with consequences that can never be undone. And so, while the initial act of departure might have been liberating, its long-term effect can be a relentless tide of regret, each wave erasing the traces of confidence until all that remains is a lingering question. What if? What if they had recognized the power of what they walked away from? What if they had seen that the security, the unyielding energy, and the unwavering focus you possess are not commodities that can be easily replaced? In this cruel twist of fate, the very decision to leave becomes a haunting reminder that some connections, once broken, can never be mended. It is not anger, nor is it bitterness. It is the quiet, relentless truth that you no longer matter in the way you once did. And that is the ultimate revenge, a slow, creeping acknowledgement of irrelevance that gnaws at the conscience until it's too late. The reality is simple. If someone chooses to exit your life, they forfeit their chance to be a part of your future. They become a mere memory, a footnote in a story of relentless growth and unwavering purpose. In that space, you are free to invest every ounce of your energy in your journey forward, unchained by the need for validation, unburdened by the expectations of a bygone era. Let this truth be a testament to your strength, a silent victory that resonates louder than any desperate plea or frantic text ever could. If you're ready to leave the past behind for good and focus solely on the magnificent future you're creating, let your actions speak. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because you're not looking back. You're moving forward and you're never going back. The tables have turned. They thought time was on their side. They believed they could walk away, explore, chase distractions, and if they ever changed their mind, you would still be there waiting, hoping, ready to open the door the moment they knocked. But they were wrong. What they didn't realize was that when they left, they didn't break you. They freed you. They thought they were walking away with power. But all they did was remove a distraction. And now you are untouchable. This is the moment where everything shifts. They expected to find you stuck in the past, lost in memories, drowning in regret. But when they finally check in, what do they see? A version of you they no longer recognize. A version that is sharper, stronger, more disciplined. The silence that once felt like distance now feels like a door that has permanently closed. Your success forces them to question every decision they made. Your detachment forces them to wonder if they ever mattered at all. But here's the key difference between then and now. You don't care anymore. Detachment is the ultimate power. The moment you stop seeking validation, stop looking for closure, stop wondering if they regret it, that is when you truly win. Because now they are the ones waiting. Waiting for a text that never comes. Waiting for a sign that you still care. Waiting for a moment that will never happen. They left believing they had all the control, but now they are the ones feeling powerless, and you've already moved on. Think of it like a door that was once left slightly open. They walked away, assuming that whenever they wanted, they could return, and things would be just as they left them. But while they were gone, you didn't just close the door. You locked it, reinforced it, and built an entirely new life on the other side of it. Now they're standing outside, knocking, realizing that what they thought was temporary is actually permanent. And that realization stings. Regret is a slow poison. It doesn't hit immediately. It creeps in over time, settling into the empty spaces where confidence once lived. They meet new people. They try new things, but something always feels off. The connections lack depth. The conversations feel empty, and suddenly, the person they walked away from doesn't seem so replaceable. The longer they wait for you to look back, the more they realize you never will. And that's the real power. Not revenge, not proving anything, not even wanting them to regret their decision. The real power is in not needing to prove anything at all, because the ultimate flex is this: you no longer care. The past is nothing more than a stepping stone, and the person you are becoming has no reason to look back.